Hi, I'm Raphael Heath, the Head of Geography at the Royal High School Bath, and this tutorial is just going to talk you through the very basics of how to participate in the Geography World Record event for November 2014. And this tutorial is just really going to go through the very basics of participating and entering data into the map. Okay, so we're going to go straight into web browser. I type in www.arcgis.com. and that takes me to the ArcGIS platform here, and I'm not going to sign in for this exercise because though you can sign in, we're just going to do this as if you are coming at it as a non-subscriber. So I'm just going to pick on this magnifying glass here, and I'm going to type in GIS World Record, and any maps that are saved with that name are coming up. There may be updates near the time, which will let everyone who's registered to the event know about. This is a general idea of how to participate. So you'll type in something, whether it's GIS World Record or something similar, and a map will come up that you can open. So this is a map here, and you can see my name in it, Raphael Heath, who's created it. So you open up the map. As I say, this is just a demo, but it may be very similar to this in reality. This is how the current map is set up as the demo map. You can see here at the moment what I put in is secondary schools in England, so each of these dots is a particular school and details about it. There are also the GDST group of schools as well as symbols. If you go to the content section, you can see all the layers that are here. So it looks a bit cluttered at the moment. The map we produce for the event may not be as cluttered, but just in case it is, you can get rid of other layers that are not relevant by just unclicking them. And now we're left with just the GIS World Record Attempt layer here. Also, if you haven't logged in, there is this button Modify Maps. If you click that, you get more controls over the map and things you can do with it, so it's worth doing that as well. At the moment, the World Record Attempts information is just as dots, so at the moment all you have to do as a student is get your students to come to a web browser like this, get to this site, and to enter data into a particular dot. As I say, other tutorials will talk you through a little bit about what you can do with the data next. Each of these dots contain information, so each dot represents a different student, and if you click on a dot like that, you can see what the data is. So this is just made up data, but there's various questions here, which we'll talk about in a minute, and you can see the results for them, and we can display them in a better way using some of the power of GIS later. So to find a place, the students would type in a postcode or just zoom into their map to an area so that they can find their location. They can just zoom in till they get close enough to sort of recognize it. Another way of doing this is using postcodes or place names. So if I type in Bath now, it'll just zoom to Bath area, and that sort of speeds things up. Or if I type in a postcode, then you can see already postcodes are coming up. That might be relevant. I can type in the full postcode. It's just an example one, and it takes me to that location. So it's pretty easy for students to be able to find their home and their location using this map. I should just point out the map of the background here, what we call the base map here, can be changed to whatever students or you prefer. So you've got various options here. So if you wanted it to look more like a sort of Google Earth imagery map, and zoom in and see building level data, building level images, then you can do that, of course, as well. We'll just go back to the topographic map I think I was using before, just so it's not too cluttered. So as you can see, there's the data that's been put in by a student here, made up data, and already. Now, let's go to a location. Let's say I lived around one of these roads here, and I wanted to put in data. I would go to the Edit button here, and I would then click on New Feature. We'll make it as simple as possible, so there shouldn't be any other sort of features to pick from, different ones. It should be just one to pick from to make it really simple. And you can click on the map anywhere to add data near your home address. So I should point out the idea here is, we don't want to, as it were, sort of give away students' sort of home address details or anything. So the idea is that the information is confidential. They don't enter their personal names or anything. And also you can talk them through the idea of where they put their dot. If they don't like where they put their dot, it can be moved, as you can see here, just by moving it with a mouse button. But the idea is they put the dot sort of in their neighbourhood area, so it doesn't matter if it's a street or two away, as it were, or up and down their street. It shouldn't, the idea is not necessarily to be on their house as such, so that it sort of maintains a certain confidentiality of their response. Anyway, the data they then put in is information about, at the moment this is draft, it might be slightly different, but school name and so on. This will help if you want to sort of later just filter results by your school. You can see all your school's results and no one else's, for example. So I'll put in mine, Royal High School, Bath. You might use just an abbreviation, like I might type in sort of RHSB instead of the whole name. But what's useful and important is that that you tell your students whatever to type in, so it's consistent there to help you find, if you want to use it, all your school's results. If someone's typed in slightly differently, obviously it won't come up when you filter it necessarily. And then we ask students to put in their age. So I think we're doing this as year groups, so year 7, 8, year 9 and so on. We might change that from age to year group. And I suppose if they were teachers or adults entering data, then we could use something like year, actually I think it's just a number, year 14, let's say. So that would, we'll have to clarify whether that's age or year group that we want in there. I think possibly year group would be fine. Anyway, then there's the questions on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate the area you live in overall? 10 is excellent, and 1 obviously is very poor, so I might say, yeah, I quite like my area. How would you rate the quality of public open space and parks in the area? So, oh, well, it's okay, then not great maybe, and so on. So I keep answering these questions, they're not too many. How noisy are the streets in your area? 10 is very noisy. I think, oh, that's quite quiet. Put 2 there, so road nearby, a bit of traffic. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you consider air pollution levels in your area? 10 is very high, so I'll say, I think it's sort of say 6 there. And do you feel that air pollution levels are affecting your health? I might sort of feel I have breathing problems or asthma or something from it. Type in yes, no, or don't know. So I'll type in yes, for example, here. Slightly different than that one, it's not a number. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much crime do you think occurs in your area? I think, oh, it's pretty safe, very high crime level. So I'll put in, again, a sort of 3. I know a little bit's going on, the odd car crime, but I haven't heard of much else. So that's what I do. I don't even need to press a save button. This is saving automatically. I just press close at the end, and you can see that my dot's there. And if I click on it, there's the data. If I click off the edit button and then click the data, it comes out slightly different. You can see I can't type into it now. I can just look at the data. So this is where I can look at anyone else's data that they've entered. And if I wanted to re-edit it, just go back to the edit button. I can click in a new feature, let's say, and type in the data. If, for example, I've just done a mistake, I put that feature in and don't want it, you'll notice at the button here there's a delete button, so I can just get rid of data that I've done by mistake to avoid any sort of accidents or clutter there. And that's it. That's as simple as it is to enter the data for the GIS record, Geography World Record event. The idea is we get thousands and thousands of students doing this across the country. Instead of just having a couple of dots here, we'll have thousands of dots across the map for different regions. And I'll show you another tutorial a little bit more about how we can visualize and look at that data so that we can see any sort of clusters or patterns that may develop from it. But it'll get your students used to the idea of using GIS and adding data into maps. And then later analysing it. And that's literally all they have to do. They don't have to save anything, don't have to do anything else. You literally just leave and close this browser down or whatever. This data would update if someone was sitting in a computer next to them doing the same thing. Their dot would appear as I'm typing it in on their computer screen. It's all live, it's all publicly available, this data. So yeah, it's a really great platform, very easy platform to use and share information with. The idea really is just to get as many students as you can in your school to do this. You have to think about logistics. You can do this on a tablet, you can do it on a phone, mobile phone, with a browser or with a web app. So there are various options there using what's called the collector app, so you do have to be a subscriber to use that. It's probably just easier to use a browser otherwise. And so yeah, you just need to try and think about how you're going to get students to access this during lessons, maybe break times. You could have a team going around, your geography club or society going around and collecting data, actually doing it as a survey and putting the data on behalf of other people, or you can have students doing their own directly. Hopefully you can see it's quite easy to do on that level. And that's all the sort of record attempt where it involves just having a bit of fun, putting this in, trying to get a large data set. And as I say, there's lots more that will come off it around that. And if you're doing it as a lesson, this is part of a lesson, then you can build it into sort of looking at the data as well and secondary data. But I'll talk about that more in other tutorials that I record for you. Don't forget, this is our website built to explain the world record events. It's gisrecord2014.jimdo.com that I used to create this website. So it's got lots of information here about the event, videos here, for example, that you can use to promote the event in your school. I tried to put some, I'll put these videos up here as well, but promotional information here. So if you want to create posters around your school about it to get students kind of aware of it. And I've created this sort of tuxedo poster as well, which is live on the website, so you can kind of use it like this as an animated way, or you can just print it out as a flat paper poster and put it around your school. So hopefully you found this tutorial useful, and I do hope you take part in our fun, interesting GIS geography event and use it to raise the profile of geography in your school and learn a bit about GIS too. Thank you very much.